Capology, the study or science of salary caps.
And the only podcast breaking down the NFL salary cap.
Go beyond metrics, analysis, and game tape, and dig deeper.
With Jason Waltman.
We called him the Legion of Whom, right?
An episode before I even joined the show.
Yeah, that's when it was good.
Yeah, okay.
Andrew Moss.
He is one or two Popeyes biscuits away from being a tight end.
And Troy Olsen.
We're gonna get there. Actually, that's next. Calm down there, Andrew. Let me host. I'll get you there.
Okay.
The NFL is a business.
Show me the money.
And it's time to go to class.
The Capology 101 podcast.
Part of the Factory Sports Network.
And powered by DynastyFootballFactory.com.
You know what they say, that money calling, that money on the phone.
Hey, we got to cash in, man. We got to cash in.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Capology 101 podcast. The podcast we break down the salary cap to give you an edge over your league mates. My name is Jason Waltner, at DFFJ Waltner. Our man Troy, he had some things he had to take care of tonight, so I will be filling in playing host. And we have off assignment this week. We have our man Andrew Moss. You can find him at NFL Sharp Tampa. What's going on there, Andrew?
It's going great. I got a lot of attention for not liking Mitch Trubisky recently, which unfortunately is a reversal from my draft take where he was my QB1 above Watson and Mahomes.
Well, that was
self-explosion.
That's all womp womp. All right. And actually, we have a special guest tonight. We have Matt, and if I kill your last name, I'm sorry, Matt Valdovinos.
Hey, that was perfect. That was awesome. I usually don't get that right on the first time, so kudos.
It's because I spelled it right on the call sheet.
Yeah, so Matt is here to join us, we're going to actually break down the Washington Redskins tonight. And so, Matt, let everyone know, let them know your handle, where they can find you, if you got any podcasts, anything you got going on.
You can find me on Twitter at MV Scouting. I always encourage people, send me any takes you have, good, bad, fiery. I love to argue on Twitter. That is a majority of my day. I also run a podcast, the Blue Chip Scouting NFL podcast. Me and my host Dalton have a really fun time with that. We post about 2 to 3 episodes a week, so you can go check that out. And then I also write, I'm a lead draft writer over at the Pro Football Network. So make sure you can go check that out whenever you guys are getting ready for draft season.
I'm actually a big fan of Dalton and Matt's podcast, just as a personal shout out. It's one of the few podcasts that I actually listen to as almost appointment podcast listening.
That's awesome, man. Well, we might
big appreciation.
We might have to get him on during the off season when we start breaking down some draft stuff. But
and Dalton is a Cowboys fan.
He's my man already. Sorry, Matt. I don't know if you know I'm a Cowboys fan, so I'm not one of those idiot Cowboys.
You know, we all have our problems.
I know. Not everyone's perfect, Matt. Not everyone's perfect.
Just one that thinks you should run the ball all the time.
But I'm not one of those idiotic Cowboys fans. Not all the time, just because we got Zeke, man. But anyway, we'll talk about that some other time. But hey, Moss, I know you saw my tweet about how we were -1 in the box, and I said we shouldn't have run it. I mean, you must have been proud of me.
-1. Oh, yeah, definitely not minus. Yeah, actually.
They had 9 in the box. We only had they had 9 in the box. We only had 8, and because I think we had 2 tight ends at that time, and I was like, why are we running the football? We're -1. We should not. And
here's the issue. Unless you're running power read or zone read with Dak, who obviously he's your franchise, you want to keep him protected. When you have a generic run play and an extra guy in the box, that's 2 guys for the running back. 2 guys with a free run up on the running back.
As I said, in today's episode, we are going to look at the potential future of the Washington Redskins, as well as other news and notes that will affect some NFL teams and our salary caps. But first, let's hear from DraftKings.
DynastyFootballFactory.com has it all. Impact articles, a full scope of fantasy football rankings, ADP, and exclusive members-only access to Factory Sports Slack channel. Dynasty, Redraft, IDP, Devi, and even DFS. A Factory Sports membership unlocks it all. And annual memberships are free. That's right. We've partnered with DraftKings to bring you your annual sports membership for free. Just go to dynastyfootballfactory.com/shop and click on the DraftKings membership promo. Sign up for your DraftKings account, deposit just $20, and you'll receive a free $10 bonus and free Factory Sports annual membership. Eligibility and restrictions apply. See website for details. So act now and become a Factory Sports member for free. Visit dynastyfootballfactory.com/shop today.
All right, cool. The thing you got going on from DraftKings there. It's a great deal, guys. Not only can you put $20 in, but you get a free membership to DFF. So I don't know a better deal than that right now. I don't even know if the dollar menu is as good as that. So we're going to get into our loose change here. Some quick hits. We had some trades go down this week, fellas. First one we'll just break down real quick. Sanu to the Pats for a second-round pick. What are you guys' thoughts on? And then I don't know if you guys heard, too, Josh Gordon put on IR for his knee, which yeah, well, I have a funny feeling that they knew he was going to go on IR before they made this deal. So, but what do you guys think about it? Matt, we'll go guest first. What do you think?
I love the move. I think Mo Sanu's perennially underrated in the league. He's an excellent route runner. He's still a really good athlete, and he was probably one of the 2 or 3 best wide receiver threes in the entire NFL. Now going to the Patriots, somewhere that's going to use that route running ability, and he's going to be a featured target now once he gets kind of set up into that system because Josh Gordon's gone. I'm really excited just to see what they do. I would love a Mohamed Sanu pass to Julian Edelman pass to Tom Brady. I'm ready for it.
The reverse pass, huh?
I'm here for this. I did see on Twitter, and I got in a couple arguments with some people who thought the Patriots got fleeced. I really don't think they did. At the end of the day, Patriots are probably going to be a top 2 seed from the AFC, which means that their second-round pick is going to be anywhere from 60 to 64.
You're preaching to the choir on that. I actually got into an argument with our guys in our frat house about it because I was like, guys, that they're like, oh, they overpaid. I'm like, okay, you have to realize they're going to be picking at the end of each round, and that second-round pick is really a third-round talent.
And Bill Belichick can't scout wide receivers anyways, so
Aaron Dobson and Kembrell Tompkins and we did hit.
What about N'Keal Harry? What about, don't people like him?
I mean, the Patriots' 2 best receivers currently were quarterbacks in college.
Sanu and Edelman.
Oh, yeah. So as Adam Schefter insinuated, is Mo Sanu Tom Brady's heir apparent now?
Absolutely, bro. His throw power on Madden, it's insane. It's like 78.
Is it really? Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
And he has a package of plays in the Atlanta playbook.
There you go. All right, next one we're going to break down real quick is Sanders to the Niners. I mean, I don't know if anyone really saw that coming. I think it was for a 3rd and 4th pick. I mean, obviously he's going to be number 1. He only has 1 year left on his deal. I guess it's just a year guy. Maybe they'll extend him another year. Maybe they won't.
You say nobody saw this coming, but we've both been saying that they're going to move on from Sanders like for 2 years.
Yes, we have. Well, if you live in the Capology, you know that it was coming, and we've been saying buy those Hamilton shares while you can, while he's on the cheap.
However,
cheap no more.
I saw this on Twitter how even though we associate Sanders with being a slot receiver, he's ran less than a third of his routes out of the slot this year. So it depends on how they're going to use Hamilton in the future. Obviously, now he's there, owed $6 million for the rest of the year, and as it is with any other player that's traded, they can cut him for nothing if that's what they choose to do. But his contract is up. I guess he will most likely get one last contract before his career is over. It's amazing how quickly he recovered from his torn Achilles.
Are we going to call it now? Sanders to the Pats next year? Because, they tried to sign him back in, 2013, and Pittsburgh blocked that.
Jason, are they going to get a compensatory if they traded for him and then let him walk in free agency?
Yeah, that's what the Pats are notorious for doing. They'll trade for a guy, let him walk, and then get a comp pick when they're awesome in their system, and they will play garbage somewhere else. Pats are great at it. But yeah, I mean, he'll be a free agent next year, so I don't know if he'll get that big of a deal, though. I mean,
he's
31, 30. He's 31 now. He'll be 32 next year. Yeah, he's 30. He just turned 32. Yeah, you're right. So I mean, I don't see him getting a big deal where they would they'll probably sign a free agent that'll cancel out his deal for that comp pick. So I don't see any comp picks coming for that, for the 49ers anyway.
I mean, from the Broncos side, I think it's an intelligent move, right? You're shipping off whatever assets you have that you can. I think they should probably trade Chris Harris as well, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. From the 49ers perspective, I'm a little bit curious as to why. I really like a lot of their young talent. They've invested a lot of draft capital in it as well. 2 second-round picks in Dante Pettis and Deebo Samuel. They went out, got Jalen Hurd this year as well. Marquise Goodwin, and then you also have George Kittle in this tight end slot type role. So I do question where the value comes in terms of how much Sanders elevates the receiving core.
He's run all his routes from the outside, and they don't have a true outside receiver. And maybe Deebo is more hurt than the 49ers are letting on right now.
And hurt. Well, you know what it is? Maybe they honestly, this tells me that they just don't really think their young receivers are ready. And I don't think anyone anticipated them to be what are they 7-0 right now, 6-0. I don't think anyone anticipated that. So they probably thought, oh, we're gonna have a year for our guys to grow. 6-0. Okay, we can't just let this go to waste. So I think that they just went ahead and made this move for a 1 year to let their guys get used to playing professional wide receiver and learning all the good stuff and the nuances of the position. And yeah, that's what I think. I don't know. What do you guys? I mean, it sounds like it makes sense, right?
In theory, and we'll see how it plays out. I don't really think the 49ers are an actual Super Bowl contender, but I also didn't think they were a very good team coming into the year. So we'll see how it plays out.
Right. And speaking of Denver still, rumors of Chris Harris to Philadelphia. Everyone knows they need cornerback help. I've been seeing that Philly wants to give him a 4th. Denver wants a 3rd. I mean, at that point, if I'm Philly, man, I'm making the move. I mean, they're hurting so bad right now. He's in the last year of his deal. He's 30 years old. So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Matt?
The secondary is terrible. It is awful. I do love Chris Harris a lot. Howie Roseman has always been a kind of savant when it comes to trading for these veterans and putting them in a position to succeed. I don't think Chris Harris fits that mold in the idea that
expires in
he'll come in, he's likely to play 1 season, maybe a couple more. But I just think, yeah, exactly, at a pretty big price for someone his age as well. And he's still a phenomenal corner. But we do see cornerbacks tend to regress quickly once they start getting into that age 30, 31, 32 season. So I do think Philly wants to hold tight as to they understand what they believe Chris Harris's value is, and they probably don't waver from it.
Or sign veteran free agents to a long contract, which Harris is going to be a free agent in 2020, where they give him a deal, they front load all of it, which I am not sure if they're going to be able to do. Like I said, and they're going to have to cut some of their other veterans, but they front load and they get 1 or 2 years out of them, and then they essentially get into a situation where they're forced to cut them. And by then, they've won Super Bowls. So it's a matter of, are they going to have the space to front load 2019 and 2020 of Chris Harris's deal? But is he going to be more worth it than some of the other veterans that they're going to have to force out? If you look at guys like, I mean, they're definitely going to lose Aguilar. They might lose Ertz coming up here.
Guys like Derek Barnett
needs a new contract.
Yeah, they got $20 million cap space, so they theoretically could do it. And then, I hate to say it, as much as Matt probably hates to admit it, Howie Roseman is a pretty genius when it comes to the damn salary cap. So.
Howie Roseman is pretty just genius in life. It's really annoying.
I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
But I respect it.
Is this where I remind everyone of Nnamdi Asomugha and the Dream Team?
That was before my time.
No, I remember that.
That's when he got demoted.
Yeah, and that's when they got chipped. Yeah, he probably, Well, obviously he learned from it.
Really.
Got to give him credit for that. You know what I mean? Next one, it's been a rumor for quite a few weeks now. I think we've touched on it before, but hey, we'll touch on it again. We got AJ Green to the Saints. First, there was some Pats connections, but clearly that's out the window. So yeah, AJ Green to the Saints. I mean, I'm pretty sure everyone in fantasy would love that. I'm pretty sure if that were to happen, AJ Green would miraculously be ready to play. I don't know. It's called a hunch.
So earlier talking about the Pats and Sanu, right? The Patriots gave up a 2nd-round pick.
But AJ Green's not the heir apparent to Drew Brees.
Are we sure? Because if Taysom Hill can play quarterback, AJ Green can play quarterback. I've seen his arm strength. Didn't you watch him and Jalen Ramsey go at it?
No.
So I question what Cincinnati is going to look for in the return for Green, seeing as Sanu went for a second-round pick, and I think most of us would agree that A.J. Green is a better receiver than Mohamed Sanu, even though he does have injury histories. He's a little bit older, coming off an injury. But I just don't think that the Bengals would want to settle for a pick similar to what the Pats got for Sanu. So I think they would be looking for a 1. I don't think A.J. Green's worth a 1. The age, the injury concern, it all kind of boils into, I think I could just, especially with a phenomenal wide receiver class coming up anyways, to me, I just don't think it's worth it. Whether the Saints do or don't, I think is yet to be seen. I'm not sure they expected to be where they are currently with Teddy Bridgewater.
No.
And so, considering how they're winning games now, if that would lead them to believe that they need to add A.J. Green, then maybe. But I think if I had to guess, the Saints would probably stay put.
Yeah, it's what I'm thinking too. Other than real need.
This is, again, a potential rental situation where with the Saints core coming up, when you look at Lattimore and you look at some of the other young guys who are going to need contracts coming up in 2020 and 2021, where are you really going to give a A.J. Green, who is going to be 32 or 33 at the end of the 2020 season, a new deal, and you have those guys coming up? Or are you just resigned to the fact that he's going to be a rental?
Or do they pull the Patriots?
Yeah, sign him,
grab AJ, trade for him,
and then let him walk.
See if they can get a second, and have him ball out, Super Bowl MVP, 3 touchdowns, and go get that third round back.
Yeah. I think it'd be hard to get a third round pick, because usually for that, they would need to have him in around a $12 million annual for 1 year. I don't know. Maybe you can get that, but then they can't sign anyone.
Maybe a 1 year type thing.
Yeah, right. 2 years, $25 million, or 2 years, $30 million type contract.
Right. 12 million guaranteed. Right. Yeah, that could happen. It could happen. But while we have on Matt here, we're going to ask him, any Redskins rumors going on over there in the rumor mill? And what's going on with your boy Trent Williams? Is he going to be on the move or what?
So I don't expect Trent Williams to play another snap as a Redskin, but I also don't expect him to get moved this season. Redskins president Bruce Allen isn't what you would call an intellectual.
Former Tampa Bay Buccaneers GM, I may add.
How does he keep getting jobs? Seriously.
I've met him too, actually.
Well, it's not. You ever hear the saying, it's not about what you know.
It's who you know.
About who you know.
Maybe he's some good
Bruce Allen unfortunately knows people.
He has some good Jedi mind tricks we all need to pick up.
I wish. There's a real possibility that Bruce Allen's the best politician in Washington, D.C.
Can we talk about this for a second?
I like that one.
One day, and not that long time ago, in a galaxy not so far away, the Bucs were being run by John Gruden and Bruce Allen. That was the package deal.
Wow.
When everybody's feeling, I guess your team is pretty bad this year, Matt. But whenever you're feeling about your team being bad for a long time.
What do you want to say, bro? How many games you won this year?
Your team has won a playoff game in your lifetime.
I was like 4.
Which is more recent. So the last time the Redskins won a playoff game was against the Bucs in 2007 when Chris Sims was the quarterback.
I do remember this.
Because the last Super Bowl the Bucs won the last playoff game the Bucs won was the Super Bowl in 2002.
Wait, yeah, you were born before 2001. Don't lie to me. So you've seen us. There's been a Super Bowl win in your lifetime. I win.
Actually, that's the most recent Super Bowl that I don't remember. The first Super Bowl that I remember is the Patriots and the Panthers the year after.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, we get it. You're like 45 years old, Jason.
No, I'm just first of all 36 and 40, and it's just just hearing you guys argue about how bad your teams is.
I'm trying to think. The first Super Bowl I remember is like Bears Colts.
Dude, I'm not gonna lie. I remember Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl.
Yes, actually, who became a Redskins quarterback. Former Washington Redskin too. Anyways, Trent Williams, I doubt he gets moved. I would love for the Browns to send a package. I would love for Bruce Allen to be like, oh, maybe I won't be an idiot today and trade Trent Williams now. Don't expect it to happen. The only rumor that I think has some serious merit is the Patriots put Josh Gordon on IR. If once he recovers, they cut him, he hits waivers. If the Dolphins or Bengals don't put in a claim, I would expect the Redskins to.
Nice.
But that's just what I would expect.
That's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah, that's other than that. Like, there's been, apparently the Ravens called about Ryan Kerrigan. Dan Snyder laughed at them. Brandon Scherf wants to re-sign with the Redskins, but that only means so much. Other than that, that's about it. I do want to point out, I tweeted this today. Quentin Dunbar, Washington Redskins CB1, has been one of the 5 best cornerbacks in football this year.
Nice. Look at that.
All right. That's my subtle brag for the worst defense.
What's
in
Dunbar's
NFL.
contract look like? Let me pull it up real quick.
I'm pretty sure he makes like 4 or 5 mil. He has one more year.
Oh, you know what that means? He's gonna get all of Josh.
He's getting overpaid.
I almost said Josh Gordon.
Josh Norman's $16 million cap hit at the number 1 paid cornerback in the NFL.
Yeah, but I think if they cut him next year, they save something like $10 million.
Well, they could have cut him last year for no dead cap.
Post June 1.
Or in June, sorry. In June, I believe. Yeah, there was a post June 1 cut for no cap hit. That was our out. And they selected not to.
Scout NFL football like a pro. Invest in yourself and get a degree in player evaluation and assessment from the Scouting Academy. They've educated NFL GMs, personnel directors, and dozens of NFL scouts. Enroll today and you'll watch the same game tape NFL coaches watch. You'll learn to look past the metrics with position-by-position analysis. This is a time-tested curriculum, a chance to learn from the NFL execs and coaches. Sign up today and get a Dynasty Football Factory exclusive discount for a limited time only. Save $50 when you sign up at dynastyfootballfactory.com.
All right, guys, and that's Scouting Academy. Go sign up, save $50. It's a good deal there. You can learn some stuff. I'm pretty sure Matt here doesn't need it, but you can still go learn some stuff.
Send me $50 and I'll tell you everything I know about scouting.
There you go. All right. So like I said, we're going to start diving into the Redskins here a little bit. So cap space for this year they have right now is about 14.1 million. Next year they will actually they will have a huge jump to 51.5 million, not including the cap increase. So you probably put that around probably 62 to 65 million. So you got some cash to spend. The question is, will they spend it right? That's the whole thing, right?
Not just that, there's also some caveats into that as well. With that 50 or the 62-ish, maybe Josh Norman probably comes off the books, which is another 10.5, 11.
Yep, and you're gonna save. You cut him after 2019. Save just $4 million. Oh no! I'm sorry. You get $9 million.
So plus 9. Probably move Trent Williams' contract. Trent Williams makes about 15 a year, I believe. Trade him. I doubt they'll have to eat much of it. And then the big one is that 51.5 is with 26
Alex
of it
Smith.
Off Alex Smith, which is huge. So if they can find a way to find a buyout, find maybe a trade partner. If someone wants to send us, we'll send them a pick to take the contract. What Cleveland did with Brock Osweiler, something like that. That would be awesome too. I don't expect them to because it seems that Alex Smith is really bonded with Dan Snyder and Bruce Allen, which means Alex Smith is also an intelligent person because now he's just going to make $26 million to do nothing.
Good for him.
Yeah, shout out to him.
He's one of my favorite.
I love Alex Smith. I mean, he was
modern NFL era.
Real quick before we start diving, let's go into the quarterback position here real quick. So first question we got here is Haskins the future?
Short answer, yes. That's what I believe. I was higher on Haskins than the consensus prior to him being drafted to the Redskins regardless. I thought that his arm was the most talented in the class in terms of what I thought he could do at the next level. I also thought his processing was excellent. There were mechanical issues. I'm also tell you that firsthand. And what he kind of did at Ohio State, a lot of the crossers, a lot of the over the middle of the field, get it to a playmaker.
Everything was a drag to Paris Campbell?
Yeah, facilitate was a lot of questions. But I think you did see he took what the defense gave him. And, we questioned Dwayne Haskins with that last year. I also questioned, I questioned Tua Tagovailoa with it this year. Is a lot of his big yardage, big chunk plays comes from a quick slant that he just gets the ball into his receiver's hands and his receivers take it 60 yards down the field. So I don't know how much of that you can negatively impact Dwayne Haskins for. But to me, I thought he was a franchise level quarterback, and I thought he had the chance to be the best quarterback from his draft class. The Redskins didn't do a good job in his limited game action of putting him in a position to succeed. He went in without Terry McLaurin in the game, without Brandon Scherf in the game, obviously without Trent Williams. He had no practice reps. So there was a lot of kind of volatility in that game where he went in. Now they're doing their best. They're giving him developmental days. They're giving him first team reps. They're creating a playbook for him that he can feel comfortable with this year. So they're doing a good job of developing him to play later in the season. And I do expect us to see him this season, but I expect Dwayne Haskins to be the guy going forward for at least next season.
All right. So you're saying buy Dwayne Haskins now while you can?
Well, I never recommend buying Redskins players. There is one player I would talk about that a little bit. But
and his name is not Scary Terry.
It is not Scary Terry. We will also get into that later.
So let me ask you this then, since we were talking about Alex Smith. I mean, will he be back next year? I mean, I know that they said there was a possibility he can never play again with his leg injury. But
so there was not just that he never plays again. There was some expectation that he could get the leg amputated. A lot of infections and post-surgery issues. He's walking now. He does have a brace still, but he is working towards returning to a football career.
Do you think he'll play next year?
I don't know. My issue is I don't know if he plays next year because I don't know if someone would let him, right? I don't know that. I don't think he would play as a Redskins quarterback, so then it would be on another team. And what team's realistically going to go out and get Alex Smith? Someone has to eat his salary, and I don't know.
I'm going to tell you right now, you guys are kind of stuck with him because unless you trade for him, if you did a post-1 June cut, it's a $21 million dead cap hit for 2020 and $10 million for almost $11 million for 2021 with zero savings.
The Redskins' 3 highest played offensive players have not played a snap for them this year. In Alex Smith, Trent Williams, and Jordan Reid. The Redskins have, going into the season, the most expensive offense in the entire NFL.
And it's not that well. I don't know. Where do they rank offensively? It's pretty average, right?
It's not great.
Right.
Definitely not very good.
All right. Well, I guess that's the quarterback position. So you're saying – so I don't know. What do you say about Haskins?
I think the person Alex Smith is would lead me to believe that he could one day play in the NFL again. But I don't think it'll be next year at least because he's going to make that contract, probably just be a free agent somewhere and let someone else sign him.
So basically you're saying don't hold your breath on either of these guys.
I mean, if you've got like a deep dynasty roster and you've got a spot to hold Dwayne, maybe because he did show to be super productive in college.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, no.
Okay. All right, so let's go to our running back position. Dude, what the hell is going on with Geis, man? I got Geis. I drafted him 3rd overall in my rookie draft. Like, what is going on? I mean, does this...
You know what? Was it a super flex league?
Does this validate Trent Williams' issues with the medical staff and everything? I mean, I hear you're talking about Geis. Geis had infections. You're saying Alan Smith had multiple infections. Like, come on, this can't be a coincidence.
So the issue is surgeons aren't typically part of the medical staff of a team. Like, you can have a team surgeon, but the team surgeon is James Andrews, who's like widely renowned as one of the best orthopedic surgeons in the world.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot of, I don't know what happened there. The Trent Williams thing has nothing to do with just like the medical staff and the training staff and people getting injured. What happened with Trent Williams was that he had a bump on his head. He asked the medical staff what it was and what they thought it was. They took a look at him, said they thought it was a cyst, and he was okay to play for the rest of the year.
And then it was a tumor.
So he played in the off season, went out, got a CAT scan, and it was a tumor.
That's not really the medical staff's part. I mean, they just looked at it. I mean,
yeah, exactly. They didn't, and that's where Trent Williams was like, listen, like, this isn't going to happen. I have kids. I'm not going to risk my life because you're not good enough.
Right.
Now, the issue then became Redskins president Bruce Allen reportedly said, okay, listen, Trent, tell me who to fire for you to come back and I will fire them.
Wow.
To which case Trent Williams was like, he said he doesn't want someone's lives in his hands. And it's kind of just a whole big shit show at this moment.
Wow.
So again, Trent Williams could potentially play as a Redskin again. I do think it's the least likely of all scenarios, except for maybe the Redskins cutting him. I doubt the Redskins wouldn't. They wouldn't cut him. But I don't think Trent's situation has much to do with the infections and injury history of other people.
So what's up with Geis?
Darius Geis tore his ACL as a rookie, which is just unlucky. Then came back this year against the Eagles, hurt his other knee, which is more of a coincidence than a pattern. We're going to find out pretty quickly, though. Once he comes back, if he can't stay healthy, then that's when it's, okay, there's an issue here. Even if they're all multiple. It's like Rodney Anderson or someone like that, where it's multiple different injuries, but they just keep seeming to happen to the same player.
Damn it. Took him third overall. All right, well, when's he come back?
Was it a super flex league?
Oh, for sure. Freeman, Penny?
Yeah, I was going to say someone was an idiot. Because at the time, that's a steal.
Well, rookie, I'm trying to think. Who would be the number?
Carry on, Chubb. It was Saquon went 1.01.
Freeman, because people thought he was gonna be the lone starter. I remember because he was
DJ
my 103 that year. Was Freeman and then Philip Lindsay happened.
People were sleeping on carry on. I just want to point out to all the listeners, this is a bump to my and Moss has heard me say this 1,000 times. This is a bump to my scouting chops. I had Philip Lindsay as a 3rd round prospect going into that draft, and he went undrafted. I'm smarter than 32 NFL GMs.
Nice. There you go. So let me ask you this: any value with Bryce Love? I mean, he was highly touted the year before he came out in the draft, and he just didn't. He seemingly just fell off the face of the earth. But any value in him, or is he just a backup?
Any value you get from Bryce Love is going to come in 2021 or 2020 next year. Chris Thompson's kind of taking his spot as the change of pace scat back, but Chris Thompson's often injured. I figure he's probably going to be on the Redskins for this year, maybe next year. But Bryce Love next year is when he's going to start getting serious RB2 work behind Darius Geis and as a pass catcher. He didn't do a lot of that at Stanford, but it's because Stanford didn't ask him to. Stanford was a very vanilla offense, did not throw the ball to their running backs much at all. I loved Bryce Love. Yeah, exactly. Especially with a guy like Bryce Love. And that's where a lot of the injury history, that is why I'm not as sold on the Bryce Love being super injury prone, because yes, it happened, but he was also running the ball 300 times into clumped boxes, into stacked boxes, in between massive tackles, and that's not what he's going to be in the NFL. He's going to be get outside the tackles, get him in space, some zones, put the ball in his hands, make him make one defender miss, but don't ask him to run through a line. So I think David Shaw was the biggest detriment to his health than Bryce.
So you're saying Bryce Love maybe possibly a buy cheap now for a little bit of a stash next year?
Absolutely. Bryce Love should be a free agent theoretically right now, unless you guys play in like crazy deep leagues. But he is a guy to definitely check out next year to get some serious PPR respect. All right, well, that's the running back position. You're saying we're waiting to see on Geis, and Bryce Love can have some nice value as a PPR guy next year. That's pretty cool. All right, we're going to switch over to the wide receiver position.
Real quick, what is Terry McLaurin's correct nickname? I made a joke about not Scary Terry. I thought you were going to say it was Terry McLaurin, but not his name as Scary Terry.
So, Terry McLaurin does not like the name Scary Terry. Nobody should like the name Scary Terry because A, it's been used 1,000 times, and B, it's corny. I want a corny nickname. Exactly. There's also a Rick and Morty character. Shout out to Rick and Morty, but I have a whole tweet on this. I'm not going to spend time to look it up, but essentially, in 1997 to like 2005 or something like that, the fastest car in the world was the McLaren F1.
Mm-hmm.
So, because McLaurin sounds like McLaren, we have dubbed him F1. Terry F1 McLaurin.
Kind of like how people are trying to name him McLovin. Another thing that
people are dumb. His name is F1. Now, to pay homage to the fastest car in the world at one point because of his game-breaking speed, I've also come to learn that there's a second hidden meaning in the nickname F1. The universal help key for any program is F1. And that's what cornerbacks use when they have to line up against Terry McLaurin.
Got it.
So that's where the F1 nickname comes from. That's why it's better than Scary Terry. And that's why you should address him as F1. Doesn't have to be every time, but that's his nickname if he has to have.
So what do you see? What do you think about this wide receiving core? I mean, you got Richardson, F1. Harmon, Sims all under contract till 2022. Quinn under contract till 2021. I mean, what do you make of this wide receiver core? I mean, is F1 is he a star in the making? Is he a flash in the pan? What you got here?
So as far as F1 goes, I think he's got the skills to translate to be a dominant receiver. Games against the Patriots, when he lined up against Stephon Gilmore, games against the Browns when he lined up against Byron Jones, and games against the Bears where he lined up against Kyle Fuller and their other cornerback whose name I forget, but I probably should know, Prince Mukamara. He stood out. He won a number of reps against those three teams very convincingly, created a large amount of separation against some top cornerbacks. So I don't think, and it's not just Terry McLaurin's just getting tunneled all of the feed, because he's really not. I think he has 24 receptions on the year through 7 games. So averaging just over 3 a game, although he did miss a game. I think his average per game right now is like 5.3 or something like that. He does a great job of separating. He understands how to run routes. He's very, very polished for a rookie. Now, granted, he is 23, so he is older. He spent a lot of time in college, and we knew he was a good route runner. What I didn't realize is just how good of a route runner he was, combined with his legit 4.3 speed and his sure hands. It all kind of just came together. I missed pretty drastically on my draft evaluation of him. I didn't feel like he moved the needle at the time.
Me too, buddy. I also missed big on my both from film and analytics. I missed.
Yeah, and he wasn't an analytics darling by any means, right? He was very against the means in terms of market value, and
I think it had him at like wide receiver 17, something like that. It wasn't quite. I remember looking back and expecting it to be horrible, and it wasn't quite as bad. It wasn't like under 1,000, which is under 1,000 career yards, which is undraftable. He was somewhere in that draftable range. I just don't remember exactly.
But you also take like physical testing and stuff like that into consideration as well, right?
Yeah. So and
he's good size at like 6'1", 210, 4'3". Yeah.
So what do you think about Harmon though? Anything on Harmon?
So I loved Kelvin Harmon. I was president of the Kelvin Harmon fan club. I had him as my second ranked wide receiver, a high second round draft pick. So I was ecstatic when the Redskins drafted him in the 6th round with the 211th overall pick. He was, I think, from my board to where he was selected, he was the largest steal in the draft of any team. Just based on his draft positioning versus where I had him ranked, which I think was like 31st overall. He was, to me, his film was the best of any receiver. He did lack those physical gifts I wanted to see. So DK Metcalf did overtake him as my number 1 because he had good film plus phenomenal physical traits. Kelvin Harmon lacked elite physical traits, but I thought his film was excellent. He showed an ability to separate despite not being fast, which I never understood the idea that Kelvin Harmon can't separate, because he is a very good route runner. His hand fighting is excellent. He understands body control and how to create separation in the air. He's an excellent contested catch receiver. So I do think that Kelvin Harmon will eventually find his way to the starting lineup opposite of Terry McLaurin. And then the other guys throughout, Paul Richardson and Steven Sims are too similar in the idea that the Redskins do a lot to try and put the ball in their hands and then let them make plays. I really liked the signing of Paul Richardson, but I'm starting to question how he's going to fit in the Redskins offense moving forward, because when we signed him, it was very much, this is how he's going to fit in Jay Gruden's scheme. Right. Jay Gruden's not here anymore. So that is to be seen. In the past 2 games where Jay Gruden hasn't coached, he has a single reception, I believe. Steven Sims out of Kansas, undrafted free agent, has been a really fun surprise this year. Game-breaking speed, which kind of defies what he tested at. I believe he ran a 4.5 or something like that, but he looks like a 4.3 athlete. Actually took one to the house, like 65 yards against the Patriots, which, considering their defense, is pretty impressive. He's, a kind of outlet, early career Curtis Samuel type of receiver, where they're just going to look to give him a ball either behind the line of scrimmage or at the line of scrimmage and let him make a play. He's also their primary kick returner, and has been known to break free at least a couple times in college. And then Trey Quinn, who's someone I like a lot. I think Redskins fans don't appreciate what he does. He's short-handed, and he's a very good route runner. He's not an elite athlete. He doesn't have great size, but he does fill that Cole Beasley, Jamison Crowder type role of if you need someone to catch the ball and move the sticks, he can do that for you. He's not as good after the catch as Crowder is, but
yeah, so he's a future Pats guy. Sounds like here you say, okay, I'm clearly F1. Everyone knows about him, but it sounds like you're saying that Harmon could be a guy to buy now, really cheap, and just stash him for in about 2 years, and he could be the starter opposite of F1 there.
Yeah, in our Dynasty League, me and Moss, he's just chilling on Andrew's bench.
All right, then. So we're going to jump into the final position here, tight end, which, I mean, I don't know. There's really not a lot to talk about, but, I mean, Reid, he stays hurt. He's under contract till 2021. He's a cap hit of $10.3 million in 2020, but cutting him next year would save you guys $8.5 million with only under $2 million in dead money. So, I mean, do you see the Redskins finally moving on from him, just saying, hey, man, we can't deal with your injury issues and you're just not worth the money anymore?
Not just that, he might have to retire. So prior to that 8.5, I don't know what the rules are when a player retires. I don't know if the Redskins get that 10.3.
No. It still counts as him. It's a retired player, the same thing as if you cut him. Gotcha.
Yeah, so what I've been told is that, so he suffered his 9th registered concussion against the Falcons in the preseason on a pretty nasty hit. And from everything I've heard, anytime he does any type of strenuous exercise, he gets insane migraines and struggles to move. Which would lead me to believe he can't play football anymore. So we'll see what happens. I don't expect him to be on the Redskins next year.
Got to your health consideration, man. I mean, if you have to retire, he's made a lot of money, so what do you think about Sprinkle? It was Jeremy Sprinkle, right?
I like him. I liked him out of Arkansas. I don't think, from what I've seen so far, I just don't think he'll ever be a tight end 1. So I do expect the Redskins to look to target a tight end pretty early in the draft this year. So
basically saying the tight end position is wide open right now for the Redskins.
Yes.
Well, I don't know if we have a beard there, Matt, but
I do.
You do. So Our beards are way too important to put any old product in the same way you wouldn't just throw in any player just in your lineup on Sunday. So welcome to Fox City. Using all organic oils, they boost the hormones your skin needs to grow a thicker, fuller, and longer beard with the natural sign and amazing scent that will get everybody's attention. Give Fox City a try by visiting foxcitybeard.com. Use the promo code CAP101 and you'll get an extra 20% off your entire order. And on top of that, shipping's free throughout November. So, Matt, I don't know if you want to jump in on that, but yeah, CAP101, Fox City Beard. Check it out. All right, guys. Well, Matt, thank you so much for joining us tonight, man. It was really insightful. Love talking with you. You actually seem like a pretty reasonable Redskins fan, so.
I'm not.
He's like, no, I'm not.
No, I'm just kidding.
And hey, guys, like Matt said, catch him. Go ahead, drop your pod there again, real quick.
Make sure you check out the pod on iTunes or SoundCloud, maybe Spotify. I'm not sure. I don't do that. The Blue Chip Scouting NFL.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for our episode, guys. Thanks for the time for taking a listen. If you enjoyed the pod, please give us a follow on Twitter at Capology101 for the latest topics and contents. Please also go give us a 5-star rating and review on iTunes, Spotify, all those things. Give us a follow on all those platforms. Also take some time to check out the Dynasty Football Network at DF_network. There you will find access to our full lineup of podcasts. Thanks, guys.